Alright, so this is my Sprints 5 and 6 individual progress update for the Oasis group. So in terms of the labor that I did, the two main tasks that we actually had listed in Jira that I worked on was the GPS functionality. Originally I had it currently working, but not fully optimized as it was right now. It was currently showing a location that was far away in Northern California for some reason as a location set. So what I was working on to actually hone in on the actual location the users at, to find the local nurseries and any other businesses that are selling the plants. Since for right now we're keeping it small base, so we're just keeping it in the California Baptist University area, so just in Riverside and around that area. And I was able to complete that. It took an estimated of 8 story points, and I was able to complete it. It took about 500 minutes to actually complete it at the end. The second thing that I worked on was the inputting plant info into Firebase. That was something that we were working on for a while now, so it was mostly me, MK, Ty, and Tino was actually working on trying to get the database to actually flow and actually get the info to actually store and save inside the database and be pulled up when you click on the info page for the actual plants. It took an estimated of 5 story points and it came out to 5, and it took us about 300 minutes to work on. So in total it took 800 minutes working on these last 2 sprints, and in total it was a total of 13 story points. Now, as I mentioned, for the task that I was working on for the live demo, I'll be showing the updated GPS as well as the plant info. So here is the new home screen. Something that we also I worked on adding in was getting the images actually correct for each of the images. Because before the images were actually loading in, so now they're properly loaded. And the thing about the emulator that we are currently running is it's not optimized for our AR features and other things that Android has decided to deprecate. So the emulator version of our app is not the finalized version. We actually have a Android phone that we've been coding on that actually has the final version of our app. So everything you see in the emulator is just everything that we could actually put into the emulator without it overloading and actually causing the app to have multiple problems. So when you actually click on one of the plants here, the golden pathos, for example, you click on that and it says right here, description of golden pathos goes here, and then view an AR. If you click on view an AR right now, it's just going to bring up the fake digital house that comes with the AR, the emulator. In our actual app, when you use an actual Android phone, you'll be able to see the actual you actually will see the background that you're currently in and the actual image be placed in front of you. As for the description, it's actually encoded inside of the app. Just right now, trying to show the Firebase inside the emulator has causing it to give us some issues, so it's not able to be displayed right here. But in the actual app, you'll be able to see it. And if you go over to the sales info page and you click on the plant, as you can see here, this is where all the data was actually imported inside Firebase. As I mentioned, the emulator was not fully working with our Firebase, but in the actual app, we were able to actually get it to a lot better of a place. So you'll be able to see that in the actual app instead of this emulator currently. But when you go to location, it just takes a sec to actually load in. We were able to view. Something I wanted to add in that I haven't been able to fully implement was just getting the actual nurseries actually specialized inside of the app. That way, when you actually click on a target place, it'll actually show, like for here in this Mount Sac Antonio, this little green icon. I'm hoping to get nurseries to highlight like this so that it can be easier to spot inside the app. But if you go over to that is where the location page is at in the corner, and this is again like the home page where you'd see the description of what the plants would look like. And when you go back, you'll be able to see that information here, which is in our current final app inside of an actual Android, not the emulator. But that's for the feature demo, as in for the GitHub check-ins. Here are the GitHub check-ins that I currently had for the last sprint. As you see, from March 19th to April 4th. These are all of the GitHub check-ins that I've made. Some of them aren't actually displayable because they were in a different branch and they didn't save over when I tried to look for them. And those would have been ones working on getting the images inside for the plants, as well as changing some things for the actual Firebase to be stored inside. So if we actually go and click on one of these, here in the added Google Map function, this is where I added in Google Maps using an API key for Google Maps and got the camera to actually work with the location app. And if we go down here to location input still working, you can see some of the code I edited to actually get the app to work. And I also did have to change one of the versions of the actual package because that was causing me a lot of issues inside of our app. And that is everything that I worked on for Sprints 5 and 6.